Thanks, Kevin. I'm deeply honored and deeply humbled. It's just kind of incredible to think that in 1959, when I graduated from Canton High School, that someday I'd be up here being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But it's just truly an honor. I'd like to thank the committee for their vote. I want to thank Bruce Edwards, a Hall of Famer himself, who nominated me into the Hall of Fame. I especially want to thank the love of my life, my wife Nancy. She sacrificed a tremendous amount of time. I just can't tell people, unless you've been through this, as other coaches have. You know, when I started in 1965, I thought coaching was just a couple months out of the year. And certainly by the time we got into the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it became a full-time job, 365. And I suppose I loved it all the years that I stayed with it. I want to thank the late Harold Schwartzball. He was a very important man in my life. He was the superintendent of Canton High School, or the Canton School District. He set just incredible standards of professionalism. And I'm just really tickled to death that he did that, because I tried to live up to his standards. I want to thank my dad, bless his heart. He gave me a tremendous work ethic. Thank my mom for the competitive spirit that she gave me. And I want to thank my Uncle Everett Eichscheid. I had a first cousin who played 15 years in the professional National Football League. He started off with the Bears and then played with the Vikings and the Oakland Raiders. And that was my uncle's son, but my uncle was a high school football coach in Independence, Iowa. And I always thought that was the neatest thing in the world to be able to do. Then later on, he became the athletic director and the head football coach at Upper Iowa University, and became a legend there. The special people I want to thank, I wished he could have been here tonight, but one of the men I invited here, and I've had a long talk with him several times, is Tom Jurevich. Tom Jurevich was one of my high school teachers and his high school coach, and he was just a very special person. He set all kinds of standards, and he was just a tremendous role model for me. And I've had a long talk with him several times, and I think it's important to tell people like that what they really meant to you. And I've told him that several times, and I think he really appreciated that. He couldn't make it today because his son and his grandson will have birthdays today. But he lives in Godfrey, Illinois, and he sent me a nice letter, and I wish him well. Congratulations to Dean Smith, to the late Bill Oakes, to Lucas Buckley, to Boone Grigsby, to the 76 softball team, to the 1920, 25, and 26 basketball teams. I think it's been great to have you as part of the Hall of Fame. We've got a lot of people I want to thank. I already thanked some people, but I want to thank Bob Rogers, who was my first coach that I worked with here at Canton. Tom Zabrak, one of my very special friends, the late Leroy Macklin. I want to thank Bill Lightsey, Craig Campworth, Craig's here tonight, Terry Moss, Charlie Schwam, who coached with Ron and I in the 1980s in track, Steve Hawley, and Ron Fanistock. Ron was one of our great ADs, and I certainly appreciated the support that he gave us. And, of course, a very special thanks to my best friend, Ron Elbert. Ron and I worked together. He trusted me. I really appreciated what he did. He taught me a lot. He turned over the defense to me in football, and we were just talking about some of the things we did earlier, about some of the special defenses that we created. And then, of course, he trusted me enough to make me a co-head coach in track. And as Kevin pointed out, we're still really proud of the track program that we created. It was just a tremendous program. I think we're the envy of a lot of schools. I always look back and think, I've got Phil, the track guys that we have here, one of the greatest compliments we've ever had. We go to some major track meets around the state, And the first thing we'd hear when we'd have our bus pull up, they'd go, "Oh crap, Canton's here." And that, we just thought that was great to have people think that, oh man, we have to go against Canton. And we're really proud of that, especially the 65 guys that we sent to the state. That I think is just amazing. In the 1990s, we got an all-weather track, and I just want to mention that because I think this year, am I right, John, they're going to redo the track? And that really helped our track program. It's become something that, if people haven't seen it, it's probably one of the fastest tracks that we have in this area. But I want to thank Max Scott, who was one of our people here in this community, who helped with the fundraising. And then Bill Spinning, a very special thanks to Bill. He supervised the building of our track. And that was really important for our track program. I found out the word coach isn't singular. Over the 35 years that I coached, you are a coach, but you're also a teacher. You're a psychologist, a lot of times a psychologist, a parent, you're a role model. I think I took the role model thing to extremes when we got into the weight room over a long period of time. Thanks to Dr. Barnhart, who's not here right now. He's doing surgery, right, Nancy? Yes. And he put me back together again, so I have two brand new shoulders. But that was part of being a role model. I always told my athletes, if we're going to ask you to lift weights, then I'm going to be in there with you. And so I was in there with them. You provided spiritual guidance. You provided discipline. You were a friend. You were an employer. I miss those days when I had the guys come out. I've got a couple of them back there, Corey and Sean, who would come out, help me rake my yard in the fall and in the springtime. Of course, they needed money for the prom, so you're ready to go to work. You were an equipment manager, a custodian, a groundskeeper, EMT, and I was a taxi driver. I don't know how many times I drove to Brereton for Larry, Bobby, Sean, Corey, Jimmy up in Norris, Kevin up in Fairview, going out to Blackjack with Neil and Alan, Dave, Monterey, Jim, Joey, and John, down to New Bridge Road for Jim. We had a lot of trips and probably hundreds and hundreds of trips here in town. But that's just part of being a coach, I thought. These guys needed help. They needed a ride home. I gave them a ride home. I want to share my emotions with you. Three really important people in my life that I'm just super proud that I'm a friend of theirs, plus other things. Lance Seaver. Lance is sitting over there at the table, and Lance is one of my heroes, one of several of my heroes, but he certainly is one of my heroes. He teaches special ed, behavior disorder kids at high school level, really. And just doing that, he has to be a hero, to do something that not very many people really want to do. And Lance is also a great World War II historian. In fact, he just gave me his new, is this your newest book? Okay, The Last Rubicon, he just had that published. His first book, I think it was your first one, The Silent Warriors, World War II, a story of the Alamo Scouts, and Lance was on the History Channel and been in special advisor to several movies. He's just been incredible as a person. I just think he's an amazing man. He wrote me this letter the other day, and I really want to share this with you. It reads, I've always claimed that if it wasn't for the lack of size, strength, speed, quickness, technique, motivation, confidence, aggressiveness, intelligence, skills, and overall athleticism, I would have been the best athlete ever to come out of Canada. However, what I didn't lack was the outstanding teaching, superb coaching, tireless support, valued mentorship, and wise guidance from an extraordinary man who was a father to me when I most needed one. And I really appreciated what Lance had to say. This plaque I have up here is from Bruce Edwards when he graduated from high school. Bruce, of course, is in the Hall of Fame. And Bruce is another one of my heroes, and it reads, "I'd like to thank you, Coach, for inspiring me to become a college athlete. It said, God has truly blessed me by giving me a father I love and a coach I love as a father." Thank you, Bruce. Jim Hardesty, another one of my heroes. Jim's sitting over there at my table. And it was a Monday night, 10 o'clock in the evening, April 2001. The truck drove up in our driveway. Nancy said, "Who would be here at 10 o'clock at night?" Well, Jim knocked on the door. He came in the house. He had tears streaming down his face. And I said, "What's wrong, Jim?" Nancy said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Dad just passed away 2 hours ago." And Nancy and I hugged him, gave him our support. And I asked him, I said, "Jim, we'll do anything for you. What do you want us to do?" And he said, "Coach, I want you to be my new dad." And to me, it just was unbelievable. So now I have an adopted son who I'm really proud of. It's, I guess, adopted son like adopted father. He's a social studies teacher at Farmington High School or Farmington School System. He's the head cross-country coach, and he's the head track coach at Farmington High School. And now I think you understand why I'm so proud to have been a coach. So everything that I've done in 35 years has just been a huge, massive, delicious cake. And tonight, the Hall of Fame induction is just icing on that cake. Thank you.
Hall of Famer, Fred Harms.